Hey guys, so today I have swatches of the Native War Paints Thanksgiving Feast collection. This is actually out right now, and I will link Native War Paints down below so you guys can check them out. There are 5 polishes and 2 eyeshadows, so let's get into the swatches. I did also want to mention that this collection has 2 eyeshadows. The first is Cornbread Muffins, and this nice golden yellow color. These are Best Applied Wet. And the other one is Burnt Biscuits, which is a nice like chocolatey brown with a lot of shimmer to it. So the first polish is called Juicy Butterball, and it is a very light nude polish with some small holographic, like almost scattered holographic bits running throughout it, and a very strong gold shimmer. So here is one coat of Juicy Butterball. As you can see, it is very, very sheer on the first coat. I have swatched all of these already. And what I found with this one is that it's really never 100% opaque, which normally would bother me, but just something about the finish of this polish and the way it looks on the nails, even if you can see a little bit of the nail line, it just looks amazing. So the formula is smooth and very easy to apply. So obviously I'll be putting on a second coat, so I will let that dry and come back. So here is 2 coats of Juicy Butterball. So you can see you get a little bit more coverage on the second coat. I'll definitely be doing 3 though. And again, this is just a really nice light nude color. Actually, I like this color a lot. I didn't think I would, but it's actually one of my favorites in this collection. So it is 2 coats of Juicy Butterball on bare nail. You can see that it's still a little bit sheer, so I'm going to go back and do a 3rd coat, but I'm going to let this dry first. So here is 3 coats of Juicy Butterball. Looking at that, I can still see a little bit of my nail line, but I feel like you could probably get this opaque in 4. I kind of like how it looks sheer though, so I think I'm going to leave it at 3. So I definitely take back what I said before. I think you could get away with this opaque in 4 coats. Like I said, I'm going to leave it at 3 though. One thing I did notice is that none of the coats are patchy or streaky at all. It's really, really evenly applied. Even on one coat, the color is even. It's never once looked patchy at all. So that is 3 coats of Juicy Butterball. Again, I think you'd get this opaque on 4. I'm going to leave it here. I kind of like how this looks with a little bit of nail line showing, but 4 coats I think you could definitely get it opaque. So yeah, that is Juicy Butterball. So this next one is called Homemade Stuffing, and it is a glitter topper that's a mix of brown, gold, bronze, and a little bit of red glitters in there. So here is 1 coat of Homemade Stuffing. This is a glitter topper, so obviously I'm not going to be layering it. I did no fishing. You know, sometimes when you reach in the brush, you kind of will swirl the brush around a little bit just to get more glitter. I tried my best to avoid doing that so you guys can see how it applies with just dipped in and then one side wiped off on the edge of the bottle, and it actually applies really well. I'm having to do very minimal glitter placement too, and I know part of that is because this is a smaller mix. There's nothing incredibly chunky in here, but it's actually doing a really good job. So that is 1 coat, not so much dabbed with no fishing, of Homemade Stuffing. It applies really well. It's not thick, but there is a good even glitter coverage that you get out of it. It's just a really nice glitter topper, and it makes me so hungry for stuffing. So the next polish is Pass the Gravy, and this is a warm brown polish with very delicate gold flakies, some gold shimmer, and a pink flash. So here is 1 coat of Pass the Gravy. This one is sheer. It's also really smooth and easy to apply, and even though it's sheer, it's not applying patchy at all. It's a good consistency as well. It's not too thick, but it's not so thin that it's running around my nail either. So that is 1 coat of Pass the Gravy. I will let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of Pass the Gravy. Can still see a little bit of my nail line, but that got super opaque on 2 coats compared to what 1 coat looks like. Again, this is really smooth and really easy to apply. I'm actually really impressed with this. The nail line is just barely visible too, so I think I'm going to leave this at 2 coats. Okay, so there is 2 coats of Pass the Gravy. That's pretty decently opaque with 2 coats, so I am going to leave it there. The next polish is Canned Cranberries, and this is a kind of berry jelly base with a mix of purple and pink metallic glitters, and this also smells like cranberries when it's dried, and it smells really, really good when it's dry. I want to press that because scented polishes don't really smell that fantastic when they're wet, but when they're dry is when their scent is really good. So again, this is Canned Cranberries. So here is 1 coat of Canned Cranberries. This one's a little bit thicker than the other ones so far, but it's not, I mean, it's still not thick. It's just thicker, if that makes sense. Some of the glitter is wiping off as I do the brush strokes, but that's really not that big of a deal on the first coat. It's the second coat that you need to worry about. And obviously this will need a second coat because it is a jelly base, so it's a little bit sheer. So that is 1 coat of Canned Cranberries. I will let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of Canned Cranberries. As you can see, the coverage and the glitter payoff is a lot better on the second coat. That tends to happen with jelly polishes like this. Once you get 1 coat on, the glitter kind of sticks a lot better to the first coat than it does to your bare nail, and it doesn't wipe right off the nail like it does so easily on the first coat. If you get in a situation like this too, you can just kind of push the glitter back on the edge. So that is 2 coats of Canned Cranberries, and when this dries, it does smell exactly like cranberries, which makes me super happy because cranberry juice is like my favorite thing ever. The last polish is Whipped Cream and Pumpkin Pie, and this is a white crelly base with a mix of different sizes and shapes of metallic orange glitter, and then there are also some matte orange pumpkins in there. This one also comes with matte orange pumpkin glitter that you can use for placement because the ones that are in the polish are sunk right down to the bottom and they will take a little bit of digging to get out, so I suggest just using the placement glitters. So here is 1 coat of Whipped Cream and Pumpkin Pie. So it actually has really good coverage for acrylic on 1 coat. It has really good glitter coverage too. This one is a little bit thick as well. Not, I mean, bad thick by any means, just thicker than the other ones in the collection. You guys know I love Crellies, so obviously I'm going to be a little bit more partial to this one. That is 1 coat of Whipped Cream and Pumpkin Pie. There are some larger hexes and some larger circles that I have not gotten out yet. I can see them up at the top of the bottle, so they're not completely sunk, but it might take a little bit of digging. So for the second coat, I'm going to actually set my bottle upside down while my first coat dries. That's a really good trick to help get all of the large glitters down onto your brush if you have a polish that the glitters are kind of difficult to fish out of. So I'm going to set it down while I let my first coat dry, and then I will come back for a second coat. Okay, so now that I have set my bottle upside down for a little bit, here is 2 coats of Whipped Cream and Pumpkin Pie, and as you can see, I already got some larger glitters there. Those were right on my brush right away. And I seriously only had it sitting upside down for like a minute. It is a mini bottle, so you might need to have it sitting upside down a little bit longer if you have a full size, but it didn't take very long at all to be able to get some of those larger glitters out. And you can see that this is fully opaque in 2 coats. And like I said, this one does smell like pumpkin pie when it's dry, and it smells exactly like pumpkin pie. Kind of makes me want to make it, even though I've never made it, and that might turn out really, really bad. So that is 2 coats of Whipped Cream and Pumpkin Pie on the bare nail. One of the things with these Crelly polishes, and this is like literally with every Crelly I've ever used, the Crelly base will dry down to be a little bit shorter or smaller than the glitters are, and so it can make the glitters look too like chunky and too rough with the rest of the polish. So you definitely want to put a good top coat on to help it look a little bit more cohesive, because once everything dries they kind of separate a little bit. Like the glitter and the white just don't look right together. It's really hard to explain, but hopefully you know what I'm talking about. And top coat will definitely help that. So although I'm not sure how the top coat will affect the scented quality of the polish, even though the scented quality usually doesn't last more than a couple days. So that is whipped cream and pumpkin pie, and that is the entire Native War Paints Thanksgiving Feast collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later. Bye.